First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Monk Liao-Ming, homage to Master Sakya Zeng Kong, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Dubdan Tarji. Homage of the main deity today, the 5 Dhyani Tathagatas and Jambala. Homage to the 3 jewels of the altar. Simu, Tanchen Gatso, Tutan City, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples over the internet. Good evening, everybody. How do you do? Aisteru. Sarange.
Hola, amigo.
Hola, amigo.
Te quiero mucho.
Te quiero mucho.
Sugoi.
Sugoi. Ichiban.
Kimochi.
Kimochi.
Chumi.
Chumi.
Yapi.
Yapi.
Bling bling.
Bling bling.
Konbanwa.
Konbanwa. Good evening, everyone. To start, let's me tell a joke. I have a friend who introduced himself and said that his name is Tze Teng. And I asked him, what's your family name? And he kept saying, just call me Tze Teng. Don't worry about my family name. This is play of words of Chinese. And one day I peeked and saw his ID and his family name is Tu. So altogether in Chinese, Tu Tze Teng means stomachache. That's why he said it's not important, the family name. Therefore, lots of things we can say, like this book on Lamdre. You cannot just get a piece out of context and think of it as accurate. What we learn has to be complete, cannot be cut into pieces. Let me tell you, actually Buddha Dharma is the same. In the beginning, you would experience some spiritual sensation. If you gain spiritual responses, then you would experience some spiritual experiences. So spiritual experiences are also a kind of sensation, a kind of feelings.
但是你如果不再进步的话，
If you have these sensations but you don't continue your progress, then you will not be able to generate
产生了
clear
光
light
明以后呢，
radiance.
光明越来越增加，
And after you
越来越
generate
增加
clear light radiance, it will continually to increase.
最后所产生的是正
And
量。
finally, what will be produced is the proofs of
所以
your
接受
attainments.
好的时候，
And that's the key.
你不能够停留
So
在
even when
接
you
受
have good spiritual experiences, you cannot stay
光
there.
明产生，不能专注
And
一直
even when
停
you
留在
generate
光
the clear light radiance, you cannot just stop
最
there.
后你是要
That finally
这个好的
you
更
want
高的一种正量产
to
生，
have the higher,
正量
better
才是最重要的。
measurement, proof
所以
or
我们
measurements of your attainments.
了解这
And
些
that's the
现象，
most important
你就
ones.
知道接受好，那也是空的。
So even when
光明好
your spiritual experiences are good, that's still empty.
最
The
重要
clear light radiance
的
too,
正量
intrinsically also empty. So the most important thing, the most important one is in that proof
我们进行
or
这个你
pratyaksa.
你问我的，
And now we will continue on the question and answer.
这个师尊好，佛安，阿弥陀佛。佛告
阿弥陀佛
帝释善男子，
The Buddha told Indra,
诸法空寂，
"Good man, all things are empty and extinct, and do not dwell on the arising and ceasing.
色身不同，
They arise according to the causes and conditions with various physical forms,
土
infinite
为
characters and desires, and universally known as deliverance."
诸法空寂，不住生灭，
Please
随
explain.
缘生
All
故，
things are empty and extinct,
性
and do not
亦
dwell
无
on
量，
arising and
故
ceasing.
为得度。请求世尊解释：诸法空寂，不住
So
生
all
灭。
things are empty and extinct, and do not dwell on arising and ceasing.
感谢世尊。
Please explain. Thank you, Grandmaster Amitabha.
这个一般来讲，这一段诸法空
Typically speaking, that all things are empty and extinct, and do not dwell on arising and ceasing.
第一义谛的话，第一义谛的话，
This is the words of the ultimate truth.
比如师尊常常讲，
Like Grandmaster
师尊常讲，
often says this past few days,
这一切都是幻梦。
everything is illusory, it's a dream.
我们活到现在，一个感觉，好像在做梦一样。
Living till now, we feel that it's like we're in a dream.
那师母常常讲，
And Simo often
他
says
说他有感觉到，他自己有感触到，
she personally felt
他不可能，不太可能回去台湾。
that it's rather impossible for her to go back to
现在
Taiwan.
已经
That's how she
72
thinks.
72岁了，
Now she's
感觉
72.
到不可能回去台湾。
She doesn't think that
10
it'll
年
be
在台
possible
湾
for
的
her to go back
是
to
怎么样
Taiwan.
的日子？
So how were the days in Taiwan the past 10 years? It was just like a dream.
就这样子，哇！
Just like that.
我告诉你啊，这个2019年这一年，我们在
In 2019,
2019年那一段时间，
were we in Taiwan?
对，那时候啊，洗衣机坏了，对不对？家里的洗衣机坏了，
Our
台湾
washing machine was
洗衣
broken
机坏了，我们
in
换了
Taiwan.
洗衣机。
and we changed a new washing machine.
这个洗完衣服不是要烘干吗？
And the clothes dryer was also
换
broken.
了烘干机。
So we changed and got a new one.
对，我们做的马桶啊，这做马桶，
And our
做莲花
toilets,
那马桶都裂掉了，
and the toilet
裂掉了，
cracked.
师尊的马桶也裂。
Grandmaster's toilet cracked.
另外一个这个洗的马桶也裂了，另外呢，师母的马桶也裂了，马桶都裂掉
The
了。
gas and Simu's toilet too also cracked.
2019年那一年，
So in 2019,
台湾房子的马桶全部都换了。
we changed all the toilets in our Taiwan's home.
另外还有坏了好多东西，
There were many things that were broken.
水龙头吧，
I think it was the
水龙头
faucet
也坏了，
was also
请电
broken.
工来修理，哇，
So we
换
asked
掉。
the plumber to change them all.
好像玄关那里的什么东西也坏了，
Some other
那
things.
个地砖也坏了，那整个
At the
全部在
entrance,
换
the tiles, so we changed all of
换
them.
了是为什么？
And
我
why
们
did
准
we
备要
change
回
it?
去，
Because we were planning
回
to
去要换什么？
go back
离
still.
开台湾的时候，把房子
Otherwise, why
整个
would we
整
want
齐
to fix them?
坏的东西都变成好的，
So we fixed all the broken
可
things.
能
And then Sumo said, perhaps he will not go back to
那
Taiwan
你的
again.
感觉是怎么样子？
So what was your feeling?
就像一场梦一样，没有
That 10 years in Taiwan was just like a
不是吗？
dream. It's
梦
gone,
啊
wasn't it? Just like a dream.
那你留在台湾的东西，
Just a dream.
你也不能够去
And
拿回来
things that you left in Taiwan you could not get.
那不是一场梦吗？
So isn't that like a dream?
那是空的。
It's empty.
不要以为台湾的那场梦是空的。
Don't think that the dream in
再过几
Taiwan
年
was empty.
西雅图的这一场梦也是空的。
And in a few years, this Seattle
讲
dream
实在话，
is also empty.
我们现在在维修
Frankly speaking,
那个南山雅舍，
we have some
屋顶的
repair
全部
in
翻，
our South
屋
Mountain
顶的
abode.
防水全部翻，
We changed the whole roof
电源跟所有的电插头，任何一个地方，
and all the
所有
electric,
的电全部换成新的，所有的
the
灯泡
outlets
全部换
and
换
the
LED，
cabling, everything, all the light bulbs changed to
全部换
LED.
电全部换，屋顶防水全部换，
And
所
then
有
the
南山
roof
雅舍坏的地方
and the
全部都
electricity.
换。再过几年，
in a few years,
身体也要换。
we have to change our bodies too, because the bodies will be gone.
我的身体也没有。
Sumu's body, my body will be
我
gone.
现在告诉你，诸法空寂。
So all things are empty and extinct. The house is
车子
gone,
没有
the car is gone,
啊，这个所有的手表也没有，
the
所
watch,
有
the
那个
watches are
钻
gone,
石也没有，
diamonds are gone,
所有的黄金也没有，
the gold is gone too.
通通都没有了。
Everything is gone.
诸法空寂，释迦牟尼佛讲的。
So Sakyamuni Buddha said this, that all things are empty and extinct. What do you own?
什么都没有。
Nothing.
师母不回台湾了吗？
So Sumu is not going back to
什么都没
Taiwan.
有了吗？
Then you cannot bring back your things.
师母
Then you have
72
nothing.
我76。
Sumu is 72 and I'm 76. Happy birthday.
过了几年，
In a few
诸法空
years,
寂
all things are empty and extinct.
什么叫做生啊？
What is arising or birth? And what is ceasing or
最高
death?
的境界就是无生无死。
And the highest realm is no
前面诸法
birth and no death, or no arising and no ceasing. And all things are empty and extinct, meaning everything is illusory.
gift
Someone give me a gift.
gift is big diamond。
It's
你
a
们也看过，
big
我就
diamond.
展示给你们一下。然后我就
I,
存在银
you
行。
have seen it. I showed it to you for a little bit, and
从
then
来
I
不戴，
saved
两
it in the
手空
bank.
空，
So you don't wear anything
你从
anymore.
来不戴，
Empty here.
戴一戴也表示它的存在。
So wearing it just to show that it exists.
无止
But when
的
you don't wear it, they don't exist. This all fingers are empty.
梦幻，
Dream.
也不是你的，借你
It's not
贷
yours.
款几十年，
Just to let you borrow for a few decades. Just a dream.
我说诸法空寂，你修
So
好了
all
房子
things are empty and
也
extinct.
全部都空掉。
Even the house that you just repaired, that's also
不管是
empty.
台湾的房子，还是
Whether the
美国
one
的
in
房子
Taiwan or the one in America,
全部都空，
they
诸法
all
空寂。
become empty
车子
or become extinct.
也是生
The cars
都
too
没有了，都没有。
will be gone
房
too.
子
The
再好的
houses,
房子也没有，
doesn't matter how good they
包
are,
括你自己的
will be
身体
gone.
也没有。
And your bodies too will be gone.
那时候就是诸法空寂，
Then
还有
at that
生吗？
time all things are empty and
那
extinct.
是
So will there be a rising
生跟灭
or
是
birth?
属于人间，等于属于
So
属于
arising and ceasing
是生起
belong
次第
to the human world. That's the
是身体
mundane
次
world.
第
That's
在圆
development
满次第
stage.
里面所讲到
But in the completion
诸
stage,
法空寂，
we talk about all things are empty
你
and
如果
extinct
悟到了，
and do not dwell on
你已经
arising
正
and
量很
ceasing.
高了，
If you
你
have
知
gained
道，你会
enlightenment
知道，
and you have high attainments, high proven attainments, then you know that you do not dwell on arising and you do not dwell on ceasing. That in your meditation you would feel this way. It would be like this. When Grandmaster meditate every night, and last night I sat until 2:30 a.m. When I got in, there was no arising and no ceasing. The whole me was gone. Why? At a little after 1, I started my meditation. And my whole self was gone. So that state was called non-dwelling on arising and ceasing, because you have forgotten about arising and ceasing. So at that moment, it is called the non-dwelling on arising and ceasing. So when you wake up and you look at the clock and it's 2:40 a.m. How long have I sat? When I woke up, when I got out from my meditation, all of a sudden I heard a loud sound, bang, in the house, and I woke up. So I knew that they called on me. I couldn't continue, otherwise I wouldn't be able to get up. My 2 legs were numb. The legs were numb, that I couldn't get up otherwise. So in that period of time, I completely forgot who I am. That's called do not dwell on arising and ceasing. All things are empty and extinct, and do not dwell on arising and ceasing. Let me tell you, in Mahamudra, the first mudra is the yoga of concentration. When you enter into the yoga of concentration, it's the same as the clear blue sky appearing. Nothing exists. When you reach the yoga of renunciation, you don't even have thoughts. Human beings always have thoughts, because living beings are alive because of the mind stream, because of the thoughts. Because you think, therefore you are. I think, therefore I am. When you reach the state of no thoughts, no mind stream at all, that's the yoga of renunciation. When you reach the third yoga, the yoga of one taste, that's totally infinite. That's boundless, infinite. Moving and unmoving, birth or death, black or white. Theory or application, they're all one taste. There is no so-called good or bad, true or false. That's the yoga of one taste. It is boundless, infinite. And the last one is the yoga of no practice. And that's all things are empty and extinct. Infinite, limitless. Now I have explained this.
第一个问题，
That was the first question.
请问师尊，
Grand
可以
Master,
传授莲花童子
could you please
心中
transmit
心手印吗？
the Pith Mudra for Padma Kumara?
第二个问题，
That's the second question.
莲花童子心中心手印，
So the Pith Mudra for Padma Kumara is you hold the Padma Kumara mudra.
手说法印，
One is lotus holding mudra,
交叉
and the other one is
放
the
在胸前，
Dharma teaching mudra, and then you cross them in front of your chest.
就是莲花童子心中心印。
This is the Pith Mudra of Padma Kumara.
莲花童子
Padma Kumara Pith
往
Mudra.
生法，
And you practice Padma Kumara, the swiftest way to be reborn in Pure Land.
就是要结这个手印，
You have to form this mudra.
然后观想
And you visualize a
当中有一个
circle.
莲花，
There's a
上面有一个
lotus.
莲花童子，
On top of it, a
然
Padma
后你
Kumara.
把你的心
And
印到那个莲花童子的
you
心，
imprint your heart
就
onto
是
Padma
最
Kumara's
速捷
heart.
往生法。
That's the swiftest way to be reborn into the Pure Land.
好了，解答第二个问题，
That was the answer for the second question.
心中心印。
Padma Kumara Pith Mudra.
再来第三个问题，
Third question.
请问师尊，弟子阅读了虚
Grandmaster, I have read your book
空
number
的
264, The Unchanged Nature of Void,
文
a
中
chapter on what is demonic obstructions. You wrote
自行魔障最好的方
that the
法
best way to destroy demonic obstructions in our own heart or mind
是
is by not giving rise to thoughts
他问
or
师
feelings.
尊，如何把这个观念实践在生活中呢？比如说，
So my
如果
question
我们不按照别人
is how do I
的
apply it in
想
real life? For example, if we don't
别人
obey
就会生
other
气
people, then they get
那么
angry.
是否表
Does it
示
mean
我们结
we
下了
create
恶业
bad karma?
那么所做的一切必须顺
Do we
从
have to
别人
follow the wishes of other people?
这里我讲的虚空无变异，他问的
This book, The Unchanged Nature of Void. This is a good question. Why?
因为我讲第一个问题，诸法空寂，
Because the first question was all
就
things
是
are empty
虚
and
空无变。
extinct. And that's the unchanged nature of void.
我刚刚讲过的诸法空寂啊，就是虚
Or
空
the
无变。
unchanged nature of the sky.
我讲什么是魔障，
And let me say what is demonic obstructions.
虚空无变异的时候，
When you reach the state of the unchanged nature of the sky
上
or
座
cosmic
你
space,
上了法座，
when
你就不生
you
不灭。
sit on the Dharma throne, you're
下座
non-arising and non-ceasing. When you
真正
get
到了
off
虚空无变异，告诉你
the throne, then they are
没有
arising
上
and
座
ceasing.
也没有下
But
座，
when you truly reach the unchanged nature of the cosmic
你已
space,
经
there
把
is
这个
no getting
应
on
用在你
the
的生
throne
活
or
里
getting
面
off the throne. You have applied it to
我
your
现在
real
不是
life.
每一个生活中的弟子，每一个人要每天要修四座嘛，要修四座法嘛。
So all true Buddha disciples should practice 4 times a day. And I ask all true Buddha disciples to practice at least once a day. Once you truly reach that realm, then you would become. There is no such thing as sitting or getting off, getting in or getting off, because they are both the same. So once you have the attainment of the unchanged nature of the cosmic space, and you apply it in your daily lives, let me tell you, that's called real application, and that's getting off. So when you're doing the Dharma practice, that's called the getting on the seat or the throne. Then you apply when you get on the sitting to the when you get off the sitting, which is in everyday life. Then everything would be of one taste. Everything is assimilated, interspersed. So if we don't obey other people, then they get angry. Does it mean we create bad karma? Or do we have to follow the wishes of other people? Why? Why do you want to follow the wishes of other people? You should do it according to your Buddha Dharma. If you don't think of anything as important, because it's dream, right? It's just a dream. Why are you afraid? Why do you prefer what to be important? Nothing. Nothing is important. So what is Mara? What is not Mara? What is Mara? But actually, Mara and not Mara are the same. When you truly reach the state of oneness, one taste, then Mara and Buddha are the same. Like I said, you don't think of good or of bad. It's not demonic obstructions. It's not bad karma. It's not good karma. They don't exist. You don't think. There's no good, there's no bad. They're all the same. That's the highest realm. So the questions asked today are all the highest realm. So if other people get angry, that's other people's problem. You yourself don't get angry. Sometimes people say, and Simu said, this student is not respectful toward you. And my answer, it is just a dream. I will not keep it in my heart. Someone is disrespectful toward me, it's their problem. But in Grandmaster's view, everybody, the Buddha nature is the same. I deliver everybody universally, equally. I deliver all of them. The disrespectful one, my karmic enemies, my enemies, I deliver you all the same. You killed Grandmaster, Grandmaster will still deliver you. Universal and equal respect. Now you understand. So practice according to your Buddha Dharma, live according to your Buddha Dharma. Just ignore it And don't
不
worry
要生气就好。
when other people get angry. Just you yourself don't get
还
angry.
有个问题，还是说我们感觉到
And
烦恼是因为自己的
or should we
行
say
动
that our afflictive emotions
那么
come
在
from
我
our
们
own
修
thoughts
行
and
的历程
feelings?
中
Then
遇
in
到
our
你所
spiritual
不如意的
journey,
事情，
when we
应
encounter
当结
undesirable
合起来，
situation,
让别人觉得欢喜，还是可以顺着自己
should we comply to
心
please
意去
others, or
做
should we just
而
do what
无
we think
挂
is right without
你
any
自己
qualms
已经回答
whatsoever? So you have answered it yourself.
可以顺着自己的心意去走而无挂碍。
You
这个
can
是
just
佛法
do what you think is right without any
顺着
qualms
佛法
whatsoever. This is
去走
Buddha Dharma.
而无挂碍，
You do it
这个
according
就
to
是
the
大
Buddha
爱。
Dharma without any
你去合
qualms
群，
whatsoever.
别人叫你参加了一个组织，这个组织是当小偷的。
If you
小偷的英
join
文怎么讲？
a thieves group,
小偷的英文怎么讲？steal。那个 robber 呢？强盗 ，robber 是强盗，对不对？
robber,
是海盗，
thieves, and
是
pirate.
好的海
Pirate.
盗 robber 是强盗 ，steal 是小偷。你如果遇到你的朋友，你的朋友是小偷，难道你要顺他的意去跟人家
If
做
you
小偷吗？
have a friend who's a thief, you will follow him
你的朋友
and
是
do
强盗，
whatever.
你难道顺他的意去当强盗吗？
So if your friend is a robber,
对不
will
对？
you follow
你要
his
顺
wish
佛
and
法去走
do
而
what
无
he
挂碍
wish you? No, you
这
should
样子才对
follow
啊
the Buddha
你
Dharma
不能以为你
and
的
then
朋
do
友好
it
几个都是强
without
盗，你
any
就跟着去做强盗，
any
合他
qualms
们的意吗？
whatsoever.
当然不可以啊！
So you cannot just
佛
follow
法就是说，顺着
other
佛法
people's wishes. We should follow the Buddha Dharma.
然后没有挂碍。
And then you have no qualms or no misgivings or worries whatsoever. That's the highest realm in your daily life.
佛法去走，
You follow your own Buddha Dharma to do it, to continue to live without
如果伤害
any
了别人，
qualms or
然后自己
misgivings
完全不
whatsoever.
记得，
If we hurt others, yet we are not aware of it, nor remember it,
那么
and we
还
don't
会
keep
有
it in
因
our
果。
mind, will there still be karmic
如果你去
consequences?
伤害了别人，
If you
然
harm
后自己完
others,
全不记得，
but you don't
不理会，
remember,
心里没有
and
念头，
you're not
那么
aware
还
of
会有
it,
因果。
and you don't keep it in your mind, will there be cause and effect?
他问了这个问题，这个
That's the
问题问得
question
很好。
he asked. This is a good question.
你心里面并没有想要伤害他，
So you did not
所以
intend
你
to hurt
完全不记得，
them. That's why you don't
也不
remember,
理会，
and you're not
心里
aware of
没
it,
有那个念头，
and
这
you
表
don't
示
even
说
think
你
of
心里
it.
没有念头要去伤害他，
You
但是你的
never
言
thought
语
about
举动，你已经伤害了对方。
harming them, but your action and your speech have
无
harmed them.
心啊，
If it is
这个无
unintentional,
心作恶，恶而不法，
unintentional evil
无
deeds
心作恶，
has no
恶而不法。
punishments.
有心行善，善而不赏。
So, but if you do good deeds intentionally, then the good deeds is no longer
要
good.
做善事给人家看，
Hey, I want to do good deeds to show I intentionally perform
上登
charity,
我的，电视上登我的，
and so that I'm published in the newspapers and in the
善而不
televisions,
赏。
and I have performed good deeds.
小小
So this kind of good deeds
小小
is not good. It only generates very small merits. It's not admired by the gods or the Buddhas. Oh. So when you perform good deeds or charity intentionally, the good deeds is not praised. But when you do bad deeds unintentionally, the bad deeds is not punished. So you have to remember these statements. So when you intentionally perform good deeds, the good deeds are not praised. So the heavens will not give you the retributions, the results. It's because that's vanity. It's vain. It's manipulation. It's creation. So it will not be praised by the heavens. But if you unintentionally do bad deeds, but unintentionally you have harmed others, you will not be punished by the heavens either. Now you understand? This is good questions. If you hurt others, yet you're not aware of it, not remember it, and you don't keep it in your mind, the most important thing is you don't have it in your mind. You don't want to harm others, but you have harmed others. That will not be punished. That's a lot of fun. This morning, the breakfast shop was chatting with me, and he said, you know, breakfast is extremely important, you know? So do you know people who don't have breakfast for a long time? You know what happened? What happens that would affect my business. So not eating breakfast is unhealthy. As a Buddhist practitioner, we want to live a healthy life. So of course, eating breakfast, then you would be healthy. But the breakfast shop boss said that if you don't eat breakfast, then I have no business. We eat the rice dumpling during the Dragon Festival. So the Caucasian eat the rice dumpling and said it tastes good, but the salad is really too tough. And it is supplemented with the floss too. So the thread to wrap the rice dumpling that's wrapped with bamboo leaves. So that's just a different custom and tradition. So he thought the bamboo leaf was salad, and the thread was the floss. That's a joke about the Dragon Festival, Dragon Boat Festival. The Emperor Qianlong and Ji Xiaolan, his closest advisor, the river that Qu Yuan jumped to.
汨罗江，3点水一个字。乾隆皇帝跟纪晓岚游这个汨罗江，在观看划龙舟啊，突然乾隆皇帝叫纪晓岚，你给我跳江。
And just watching the dragon boats. And then all of a sudden, the emperor called the advisor to jump into the river. And the advisor said, well, when the king wants his subject to die, then if the subject doesn't die, that would be disloyal. So he climbed over the fence and then climbed back in. And the emperor asked, how come you didn't jump to the river? And the advisor, Ji Xiaolan, was very smart. He said, I met Qu Yuan, and he told me the reason why he jumped into the river was because his king was unwise. His king was corrupt, a really bad king. And because the king buried such a talent like Qu Yuan, that's why he jumped into the river and killed himself. And Qu Yuan asked me that, so will you encounter the same situation, that's why you jump into the river? So Ji Xiaolan was thinking, mulling it over, and he climbed back in. So he's very smart. So he indicated that the Emperor Qianlong was a very wise and smart king or emperor. And if it had been another person, then he would have become a turtle in the river. Now let me continue to expound on Lamdre. See the mind abiding of the near cause, causes that's quite close for the mind abiding. This is the instruction on the 3 places of the mind abiding as the cause of meditation. The verse states, after the self-blessings of the mind qi, the so-called mind abiding is like hitting the target and recognized as such. Even when it is at will, it returns to the mind abiding above the spiritual experience. If it is unborn, then it is unborn. If it is unborn, then it is unborn. But if it is born, then it arises from one of the following 3 kinds of mind abiding. The mind abiding of the qi circulation, the mind abiding of the self-blessing of the mind qi, and the mind abiding of the relight even distribution. This is a very crucial key points. Where does the mind abide when you are in meditation? Now I like to ask you, where's your mind dwelling at? How can the mind stabilize? There is an analogy here. and someone shot an arrow to your shoulder, and your shoulder is really painful, then your mind is of course at that arrow, and the pain is right there, and your focus is definitely there. You would feel the pain, and your focus is at that one point. So you focus on this one point. So the analogy is like when you got hit by an arrow, then your focus will definitely be on that arrow. So even when you think of other things, that finally your focus will return to that arrow, right? There's a reason for it. I have talked about these three kinds. The mind abiding of the qi circulation, which is the assimilation of the mind and qi that stabilizes. So the mind qi, the self-blessing of the mind qi to settle down, or the relight even distribution. Everything is even and equal. So what is it that you relied on to have the even distribution? So the mind abiding of the qi circulation. The qi is internally absorbed to the relight storehouse and uses power to make the mind abide internally without generating the four kinds of phenomena like jumps and movements, like plugging the flow to stop the river or curtailing the runaway horse. So the power is on the mind. We describe the mind like a runaway horse and jumping monkeys, because when the horse is galloping and running and then you throw a noose to curtail it, and then you tie it to a post, then you would generate the meditative stabilization. Because the horse cannot move anymore. Now you have reined it. So this kind of power is called the mind abiding of the qi circulation. Like stopping the flow to stop the river. The Changjiang River dams in China. So it was a huge dam on the Changjiang River, so the water stops, cannot flow anymore. This kind of meditative stabilization is a kind of mind abiding, plugging the flow to stop the river. So the water stops there. Or curtailing the runaway horse, that's the same. Because when the qi circulates, it's like a galloping a runaway horse and then you tie it down and stabilize it. This is the kind of phenomena that will happen in meditation. Second, the mind abiding of the self-blessing of the mind qi. The key to the perfect match of the qi and ambrosia, both absorb and aim at the relied storehouse, which will arise to all kinds of natural phenomena, such as the dizziness of being poisoned or violent tremor of a drunkard. So how to attain meditative stabilization? In the Kung Fu novels, they often mention that you got poisoned and you could not move, and then your vital points are being tapped and you cannot move anymore, you cannot talk. And that would be the mind abiding of the self-blessing of the mind qi. You bless your own mind qi so that it does not move. So just like when the vital points are being pushed or when you're poisoned, of course you cannot move anymore. You cannot get up. Or the violent tremor of a drunkard. How is it when you are drunk? The deranged drunkard? That's not that right. How can you stop it when you're drunk? That's not the right analogy. It should be like in the martial art novels where your vital points are being pressured that you cannot move anymore. And third, the mind abiding of the relied even distribution. As for its basic abiding and its ascent-descent, these two phases are like water into water or oil into oil. The even distribution of the engaged mind abiding will give rise to the sensation of bliss and emptiness. The first and third parts will be explained further later. So the sensation of bliss and emptiness, of course, this does exist. When the mind qi is moving inside your body, ascending and descending, it would generate bliss. But when it stops, it would generate emptiness. So sometimes it moves, sometimes it stops. When it moves, bliss will be generated. When it stops, emptiness will be generated. That's why that becomes the dual execution of bliss and emptiness. So the even distribution of the engaged mind abiding, when moving and unmoving, ascending and descending become evenly distributed, that would be like water into water and oil into oil. Actually, bliss and emptiness are equal. So, when moving and unmoving, bliss and emptiness are equal or even, then that would be meditation. And this kind of meditation is called the mind abiding of the relied even distribution.
今天下午去龙山寺算命，算命师跟我讲，
This afternoon, I went to the
会有一
Long
个
San
劫，
temple
而且
to
就要
get
快到了。
my
到
fortune
底是什
told.
么劫呢？
There would be a misfortune
跟算
encountered,
命的讲，到底
and
是
what
什么劫？
what kind of
我跟他讲，端午节。
calamities. This is play of word. It also means festival
这个
too.
也会有一个劫，他就很紧张，跑去跟他讲，到底是什么劫？你那样告诉我。那算命的跟他讲，
It turns out it's just it sounds like something different. I mean,
所以跟你讲一个劫
festivals or
你
of like
就
a
专注在这个
major
劫上
problem. If someone told you that you will
到
encounter a
了
big
跟你讲是
problem,
端午节的时候呢，原来
and then you focus on that, but when they say, well, actually not problem but festival, then oh, it's okay.
老爸常和亲戚借钱，他都会
So we were very young when I was small, and Dad often
通通会还给你。
borrowed money from the relatives and told them that in the future
通通
we will all pay you back. But in Chinese, actually, all pay you back will be, it's
的因果
the
关系啊
nickname of the son. So in the future, my son will pay you
毒蛇
back.
虽然有毒，但也能够治病。
So although
从
the
前有一个人被咬了
poisonous snake is poisonous, but it can also cure
关节
diseases.
也不犯了，
And someone was
可是
bitten.
心脏也不跳了。
His arthritis was cured. His diabetes was cured, but the heart also stopped beating.
老子讲了一句话，
That is true.
物患
Lao Tzu said,
我的过患在于我有一个身子，
that my problem is because of my body.
如果没有身子的，
If there's no
什么也
body, then nothing
风湿啊，
will
关
exist.
节炎啊，哪
Arthritis,
里这个痛风啊，
gout.
你身子没有了，
When you have no more body, of course none of this will exist
真的是我
either.
们人生之患。
So that's
没有
really
这个身体啊，
our human
苦
misgivings,
的
human
道理
problems.
源自于此。人生是苦的，为什么？因为你有这个身体呀、
So human lives are full of suffering. Why? Because of these
因
bodies.
为你有这个身体，你才苦啊。
Because you have this physical body, that's why you suffer. Without the bodies, where would the suffering
所以
be?
佛最先讲苦，佛陀最先讲是苦地。
So the Buddha said
就因为
that
我们
the
这个
ultimate
身体
truth
今天就讲到这里。
is the suffering is because of this body.